What's up, mathematicians? Today we're talking about subtracting positive and negative numbers. So, this is an important point. I want to highlight it. The rules for adding and subtracting negative numbers are different. The more you practice adding and subtracting negative numbers and positive numbers, I should say, the easier it will be to remember the rules. Eventually, you're going to practice it so much that the rules will just be like instinctive. You'll do them automatically without even thinking about them. The process will come naturally. So just trust me on that. Now let's start. This is a reference sheet that I give to my students. Let's start by just reviewing their rules for adding and subtracting negative numbers. So this one is for adding. Because the rules for adding positive and negative numbers are applied to the rule for subtracting positive and negative numbers. But let me get to that. So here are the basics. Positive plus positive equals positive. Negative plus negative equals negative. Let's do some examples. So an example of positive plus positive equals positive. 4 plus 4 equals 8. An example of negative plus negative equals negative. Well, negative 7 plus negative 3 equals negative 10. Another one would be negative 1 plus negative 1 equals negative 2. Okay? So we got that. And then the one that is important for us to practice, because it's the one that people mess up on sometimes, are positive plus negative, or negative plus positive means it equals it depends. Basically what you would do is you would you ignore the signs, and then you subtract the smaller number from the larger number regardless of signs, and then this answer will take the sign of the larger number. As an example, let's say we have negative 10 plus 4. Well, we're going to just ignore the signs for now. And remember, there's an invisible positive sign there, and we're going to ignore it. Then we're going to take the smaller number, subtract it from the bigger number. 10 minus 4 is 6. Oops, let's not do yellow. 6. So I know 10 minus 4 is 6. And now I look at the number again, invisible positive number there, sign there. And the larger number overall is 10. You look at the larger number ignoring the signs. And since the larger number has a negative sign, we apply the negative sign to 6, and it becomes negative 6. Similarly, if we have, let's say, negative 10 plus negative, similarly, or not similarly, but if I had 10 plus negative 4, I do the same thing. I ignore the sign for now, and I say 10 minus 4 is 6. Which one is the larger number irrespective of signs? And it is actually 10. And so now my answer is positive 6. We could throw that positive sign in there if we want. Okay, so let's now get to the rules for subtracting. We have to know the rules for adding positive and negative numbers before we go into the rules for subtracting positive and negative numbers. And so there's a basic rule that I tell my students to remember, which is keep, change, change. So this is how it goes. Now let me write this bigger. Let's say you have 6 plus, I'll put it in parentheses. Actually, no, I won't. 6 plus negative 4, just like we have here. Oh, no, we don't have it there. We have a 6 plus negative 4. My bad. I meant to say 6 minus. So let's say we have 6 minus negative 4, just like we have here. And remember, there's an invisible or visible, you can make it visible, positive sign in front of the 6. And the rule is that first, you look at the problem and you keep the sign of the first number. So that's the keep. So you're going to keep the sign of the first number. Now, you're going to change the sign of the second number, meaning now I have a negative 4, but now I'm going to change the sign of the second number, and then I'm going to change the minus sign to a plus sign. And now my problem becomes 6 plus 4, which is 10. So 6 minus negative 4 is actually 10. And let's get into a few more examples by applying the keep, change, change principle here. So here I have negative 10 minus 5. Negative 10 minus 5. I'm going to rewrite it so that it's larger. I'm going to do keep, change, change. So I'm going to keep negative 10 as negative 10. And then I'm going to change the positive sign, the minus sign to an addition sign. So that's my change. Actually, let me write this out. So I do keep, change, and then I'm going to do change the last thing, which is I'm going to change the positive 5 to a negative 5. And now, if it's helpful for me, I can rewrite the problem, which is now negative 10 plus negative 5. And my answer is negative 15, because I'm now going to apply the rules of addition to solve the problem. Let's do the next one. What is negative 10 minus negative 5? Let me get some more space here. Negative 10 minus, and then here I have parentheses so that I don't get confused with the, I don't get my minus sign confused with the negative sign in front of the number. So keep, let me do another color, keep, I'm going to keep that negative 10. I'm going to change the minus sign to a plus sign, and I'm going to change the negative sign in front of the 5. I'm going to change the sign of the number to a positive. The problem now becomes negative 10 plus positive 5, which equals negative 5. Let's do the next one. 10 minus 5. Well, I already know 10 minus 5 is 5, but applying the principles of keep, change, change, even in a standard equation like this, we're going to keep the sign of the 10, change the sign to a minus sign to a positive sign, and change the invisible positive sign in front of the 5 to a negative sign. And we end up getting 10 plus negative 5, which is 5. Which matches what we already know. 10 minus 5 is 5. And finally, we've got 10 minus negative 5. Okay, let's do it. 10 minus negative 5. I'm using parentheses because it helps me not lose track of the minus sign or confuse the minus sign with the negative sign. Keep, change, change. If it helps to write it down, you can keep, change, change. I'm going to keep the sign of the 10, which is positive, the invisible positive sign. You can add it if you want, if it helps. Change, minus sign becomes a positive, and then change. The negative 5 becomes a positive 5. Positive 10 plus positive 5, well, that's positive 15 or just 15. There's my answer. Let's do one more problem. 20, let's do negative 20 minus negative 10. Ay caramba, look at all those signs. Okay. Keep, change, change. Actually, I'm going to rewrite the problem and do my keep, change, change. What do I get? I get negative 20 plus positive 10, which equals negative 10. So I hope this is making sense. I know we're going to do a lot of practice in my class, and truly practice, practice, practice with this makes progress, progress, progress until it is just second nature and you do it automatically. Until next time.